So in my view, if someone's experiencing hair loss and also experiencing symptoms, whether they be itching, stinging, burning, tenderness, pain, that should have a very low threshold for thinking about the potential for a scarring alopecia to play a role in the hair loss. Now, it's often the case that people may have symptoms for other conditions affecting the scalp, like seborrheic dermatitis, but that should at least prompt careful evaluation for the potential for scarring alopecia. In addition, use of trichoscopy can be helpful as well to determine if there's early or mild scarring alopecia as well. So looking for signs in the scalp like erythema, perifollicular scaling can be helpful. And again, these are not necessarily purely diagnostic in and of themselves, but can warrant closer evaluation for the potential for scarring alopecia. And in many cases, a biopsy may be helpful there. So for scarring alopecias, I think that there's still a lot of work to be done to identify and develop really established evidence-based treatments. Nevertheless, clinical trials are starting in many cases, small studies that suggest that the use of topical and oral JAK inhibitors can be very helpful. And so that is a particularly exciting avenue for me to keep an eye out to see hopefully new treatments available for patients suffering from these conditions that currently have no approved treatments. So that probably is the most exciting area with scarring alopecias for me. It's hard to choose only one practical consideration with hair loss because there are so many types of hair loss, and it often can be very complicated and complex to treat patients. So I'll offer two practical tips, and even that's a little bit difficult. So the first is using low-dose oral minoxidil to help hair growth. Again, my view is if hair can grow, minoxidil will help it grow. And so either as a monotherapy or as an adjunctive treatment, and adjunctive in particular cases where there's inflammatory alopecia, can be very helpful for patients to achieve successful treatment. The second part is that hair regrowth, when we're successful in treating patients, can take a really long time. And I know that everyone kind of understands that at a very high level, but really making sure that patients understand that it takes time can be extremely beneficial in achieving good outcomes. If patients' expectations are not set on the time frame, then they may stop therapy early. They may be very concerned that it's not working. And even with very clear-cut, well-established evidence-based treatments like JAK inhibitors for alopecia areata, it takes time for them to work in many cases. And the last thing we want to do is have a patient stop before it starts working, when really all it would take is giving it a little more time. So, be patient with treatments and give it time to really assess if it's effective.